Hey guys, sorry to make the episode even longer than it is, because it is really fucking long, but something was up with my mic that's never happened before, because usually, I sort of narrate like this. You can kind of hear it now that it's got really weird feedback, and I've always done it like this. So I think something might be up with the mic, I don't know, but I'm really sorry you're going to have to deal with that for this episode. Please bear with me. I appreciate all your views, and here's hoping you enjoy the rest of the story. Hello everyone and welcome back to Cruel and Unusual Storytime. I am your host, Simon Dexter. And yes, you may notice I am wearing a different shirt, but I'm still recording in advance because I'm still stuck at home. A bunch of shit happened yesterday, but now I get to resume. So good for the channel, right? So we are resuming, in fact we are finishing our read-through of In Unknown Clutches, so just like to extend an extra thank you to Dothos for the suggestion. This has been an interesting first attempt for the second separate segment of the show, so thanks a lot, man. So, hopefully, we can just be done with this and start a new one next week. But for now, we got some shit to finish. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy the final chapter of In Unknown Clutches. Author's note. Sorry again for the late update, but I hope you forgive me with this long chapter. Oh, good. It's gonna be long. Just what I needed. Chapter 4. So, I'll see you tomorrow, then? Yeah, alright, Ben replied, hearing a satisfied sigh emit from the other end of the cell phone. He waited until his cousin dropped the line first, before closing the phone himself. What a way to spend a weekend. Ben fell down on his bed, clasping his hands under his head and stared at the white ceiling above him. After Gwen had called him to hang out at Mr. Smoothie's with Kevin, Julie, and herself, the teenage hero felt slightly restless. Not because of the idea itself, but because of the fact that he would confront his red-headed cousin in quite a long time. Damn stupid dreams. Why the hell about your own cousin again? He didn't say again, but oh well. Ah, stupid hormones. I saw the it kind of looked like again. My bad. Continuing. The same dream had been plaguing him for a few weeks now, ever since he and Gwen found themselves mysteriously fainted in a dirty alleyway behind Mr. Smoothie's. They couldn't even just put them back in their homes? Wouldn't that have, made them more conspicuous? No, I guess it takes a little intelligence to do that, doesn't it? He would have his perfectly normal dreams suddenly interrupted by random flashes and visions, all related to Gwen. The first time he had a dream that he was in some spaceship and was hugging a shaking Gwen for comfort. The second time he had Gwen crushed between a wall and his own body, and the horrifying part was that they were actually kissing. Sorry. The third, well, he dared not think about that. He had never blushed as much as he would at the thought of these dreams before in his life. There is no going back. Also, these aliens clearly suck at mind erasing, because they still clearly remember, just not exactly. Ben sighed, turning on his stomach and burying his face in his pillow. He knew they were just dreams, but he couldn't help it. He was somehow afraid that if he would come face to face with Gwen, she'd be able to extract out his thoughts, whether through a simple eye connection or by telepathy. Does Gwen have telepathy? Does she? I don't remember. It's been a long time. He shuddered at the latter. Ugh, I feel like a pervert or something. You are. Just between you and me. He mumbled into his pillow. After trying to suffocate himself... Oh, God. After trying to suffocate himself in his own pillow unsuccessfully, as a form of punishment about thinking stuff. Okay, thank you for clearing that up. I was like, oh, this got dark. I got a little concerned. He flipped on his back and stared outside his window. The full moon was so bright and beautiful, its light shining over half of Ben's bed. The brunette, he has other features other than his hair. I'm sorry I've been bitching about it in every episode, but it's really fucking annoying after a while. Brunette just turned his head to stare at the unoccupied space, imagining his own cousin lying down beside him. You pervert. She was so peaceful when asleep, no frown lines marring her innocent face. Oh, this is a flashback of what he said in the last episode. Okay. Ben stared as she lay on the pillow, her red hair fanned around her pillow like fire. It's a special secret between you and me, Gwen whispered, her eyes blinking sleepily. Okay, so yeah, that was all just a flashback from chapter 3. What? Ben sat up quickly, feeling his heartbeat increase tenfold. Tenfold? I know I'm not funny. He rubbed his face and stared at the moonlit spot again, afraid Gwen might still be there. Ugh, just another vision. God, when will it stop? Not until you fuck just one more time. After a few moments of silence, his heartbeat finally went back to normal. As he lay back down on the bed, his thoughts became more and more troubled. Not just visions, they feel more like deja vu or something. Shucks, Benjamin. How will I face Gwen tomorrow? He had a strong feeling these visions were related to the strange night almost 3 weeks back. Somehow he wanted to talk to Gwen and ask her about it. Maybe she had these strange visions too. Who knows? With that comforting thought, Ben let his eyes gaze unseeingly at the bright moon, waiting patiently for the sleep to finally claim him. Not so far away, staring at the very same moon, was a fiery red-headed Tennyson with similar troubling thoughts. Only they were not as similar as the brunette. I'm about to smack a bitch. Not really, though. I do not advocate violence. Gwen cuddled her pillow as she snuggled deeper under her covers, half happy and half nervous for tomorrow. Happy is finally after the weeks the four friends would be able to spend time and catch up with what was happening. Nervous because of Ben. Because he just was not that good. She doesn't have the heart to tell him. Ben, who seemed hell-bent upon avoiding her for some reason. She was determined to find out what was bothering him. After that strange day, where they both found themselves in the dark alleyway, Ben seemed distant from her. He rarely called her anymore, and whenever she called him, pardon me, he would make an excuse and hang up. Not only did his behavior make her annoyed, it also hurt in some way. Well, to be fair, yeah, when you're close to someone and they start ignoring you, it's kind of a dick move, as we call it in the real world. After all, they were close to each other for 7 years. They were not only cousins, but partners. A team. Gwen sighed, watching the moon hide behind the clouds, and eventually peeped back out in its full glory. I am reading awesome today, by the way. I don't think I've stammered once. Sorry. I get proud of myself sometimes when I actually feel I'm reading good for a change. Reading well. What had been the last time she saw him? Ah, yes, 2 days after the incident. Ben and his parents had come over for a small family gathering. The dinner was normal, and Ben seemed to smile and talk properly. However, whenever they were suddenly left alone, he would become quiet and cold. He would never even look at her in the eyes anymore. A thought suddenly struck her, causing her to fiddle with her fingers nervously. Did Ben see something wrong with her? Could he notice the way she blushed whenever he looked at her way? Okay, that was a flub. Gwen hoped not. Oh, stupid dreams, or nightmares, hallucinations, whatever. Big difference between dreams, nightmares, and hallucinations. Big dreams. Dreams and hallucinations particularly. Gwen felt heat rise in her cheeks at the mere thought of Ben ever finding out what kind of perverted hallucination she seemed to be having recently. But she couldn't help it. She was more than baffled at her situation. Maybe, just maybe, Ben had such hallucinations too. Gwen felt her heartbeat increase gradually at the mere thought. Although it was embarrassing, she was curious to know more about her cousin. She was 100% sure that this craziness started from the day she and Ben found themselves in the strange back alley. Yep, has to be something to do with the night before. I just can't remember what. The place was filled with all sorts of noises, children screaming, parents scolding their kids, teenagers laughing together in groups as teenagers are wont to do, and waitresses moving to and fro, their high heels clicking on the tile floor of Mr. Smoothie's. Do they not have male waiters? How? Sexist. Not really. They can maybe just guys don't apply there, I don't know. Overall, the atmosphere was noisy, albeit interesting and cheerful. To one corner of the rather busy shop, 4 teenagers sat in 2 pairs, both facing one another. Kevin and Gwen sat together, the former laughing loudly at some random joke and causing the small square table in front of them to shake. I don't see what's so funny. What is so funny, Kevin? Contractions don't exist, okay. Julie, who was sitting beside her boyfriend Ben, said with an amused smile. You've told us this joke countless times before, you know. Does Julie hang out with them? No. She certainly didn't used to back when I was watching. What do I know? I'm just over the hill, I guess. Kevin sobered up at once, mock hurt on his face. Julie! How could you say such a thing? You hurt my pride in front of my girlfriend, who talks like this. And I don't mean the voice, I mean who says in front of my girlfriend anymore. I know that doesn't make sense, but In my way of thinking, I think it's really stupid and weirdly formal to physically call someone your girlfriend or boyfriend in public company, or husband and wife, unless you're introducing them, of course. But when it's very well known it's your girlfriend, you don't really need to say it's your girlfriend. I hope that cleared that up. Continuing. He glanced to his side as he said that, expecting Gwen's affectionate eyes to stare back at him. Therefore, he was slightly annoyed when she didn't respond, instead staring out of the window at the darkening sky. Kevin sighed, slumping back into his seat and crossing his arms over his chest. His eyes slowly moved from Gwen to her brunette cousin. "I'm going to kill you. And all of your family." Not really, please don't take what I say seriously. I don't have it in me. Watch the Ed, Edd n Eddy Lost episode on my channel, and you will know what I'm talking about. Who was currently helping himself to his fourth banana and strawberry smoothie on the opposite side. That sounds awesome. I could use one of those right now. Kevin wondered why both cousins were acting so formally with each other, not making eye contact and exchanging few words when only necessary. "So Kevin," Julie's voice pulled his attention away from the strange Tennysons, and he focused on the pretty Asian instead. "Is Julie Asian?" I guess she kind of has a look about her. I just never really noticed. Whatever, that's cool. "Ben told me you did some new modifications to your car. What exactly did you do?" Kevin stared at the raven head. Don't play this with me. Silently for a few seconds, wondering how and when she became so interested in car mechanics and alien equipment. He assumed it was because Ben was paying attention. It was because Ben wasn't paying much attention to her, or anyone at all, that she wanted to start a decent conversation with him. Well, he was fine with that. Besides, he did love talking about his car, as not most boys, because I don't. My car's a piece of shit. I hate that thing. The two I'm gonna stab you with a comb that you can't see. Okay, I'm done. I'm done with that joke. I swear to God. Maybe. Chatted away, the voices surrounding the small table accompanied by Ben's occasional slurping sounds. You're welcome. The only one who remained silent was Gwen, who kept staring out the window in deep thought. Her hands filled nervously with the hem of her blouse, and she willed herself to relax. She had stopped chewing her bottom lip furiously for two main reasons. One, it would fall off, probably, and two, Ben's attention was constantly diverted to her actions, his green eyes sliding back and forth from his smoothie to her lips within seconds. Yeah, these aliens really suck at the fucking mind erasing thing, because normally, if you do it right, they don't remember anything. But that's just me. That's just me. I didn't invent sci-fi technology. The aliens did. She felt flustered for some gosh darn reason. Missy. And she needed to get to the bottom of this madness. "I want to order another smoothie." Gwen suddenly stood up, causing the others to look up suddenly. "Babe," Kevin said uncertainly. "You have to go. We'll just call a waiter." "No," Gwen interrupted him sharply. Then with a softer tone she said, "I want to walk for a moment. My legs are tired from sitting." "Should I come with you then?" Gwen laughed lightly, rolling her eyes as Kevin moved aside to let her pass. "No, thank you. There's no danger here. Besides," Gwen threw a meaningful glance at her cousin, "Ben is coming with me. He wants another smoothie too." "Benjamin?" Ben stared at his cousin in slight confusion, quickly closing his mouth before he could deny the redhead's exclamation. I gotta say, they're really good with the omnipresent narration, where it's sort of... she can switch really quickly, where it's not stupidly obvious. Like, now, this perspective. She just does it. I like that. I'm assuming it's a she. Partially. Gwen stared at him in a "come with me now" look, so he had no option but to follow. "That's a good dog, Ben. That's a good dog. Yeah, I need one more smoothie. We'll be back soon." Ben stood beside his cousin, wondering why she suddenly planned to speak with him. Wasn't she avoiding him before? Actually, he was also avoiding her, so he was equal to blame. Did she read my mind? Ben thought in panic, as he followed Gwen to the front of the shop. Oh no, that should not have happened. God, if you are listening, kill me now. Appropriate response, fairly. He was too preoccupied in his worrisome thoughts that he didn't notice Gwen leading him away from the counter and towards the back of the shop. Ooh. where there were secluded spots for customers. Once she finally stopped and he accidentally bumped into her back, he noticed his surroundings. Sorry, why are we here? Ben asked in confusion, his gaze sweeping across the small tables with patrons in between to offer privacy. Sorry about that. He felt heat creep up his neck as words like alone, Gwen, kiss sprang up in his mind. He shook his head to clear his perverted thoughts, focusing on his cousin instead. Sadly, it was a mistake. Gwen looked pretty lovely this evening, dressed in a red silk blouse and long black skirt, looking so feminine compared to Julie. You pig. Sorry, that drives me crazy. I don't think you need to look feminine to look pretty. Ben couldn't help but let his eyes run over her form in appreciation and lust. Why does anyone watch me? I have no idea. Her red hair was tied into a messy bun, few tendrils escaping and fluttering around her pretty face. Her eyes were like gleaming emeralds, her pink lips looking so soft and warm, almost swollen from her constant biting. Could you go into any more exposition here? I think we kind of covered that you have the hots for her. Ben let his gaze wander lower, appreciating the graceful dip of her neck into the collarbone. Her skin looked so smooth, and Ben suddenly wondered what it would feel like to mark that unblemished skin. I could not speak for the life of me. Anyway, wait, what? Ben, are you listening to me? Gwen's voice penetrated his hazy mind, and he bleatingly realized that she was clutching onto his right arm. As though her touch burned, Ben quickly removed her hand and took a few steps backwards. He did not miss the hurt look that passed on the pretty face. Well, frankly, her touch didn't burn, so why did you do that? I don't know why people do that. Never before did he want to destroy something big and heavy as he did now. Now, aren't you macho? Sorry, Ben, sighed, running a hand through his hair. What were you saying? I was saying, Gwen started with a sigh, that I feel you seem to be avoiding me lately. Why? Funny, Ben replied with a raised eyebrow, sitting on top of one table, his arms crossed over his chest. I thought the same about you, too. Me? Gwen looked flustered for a moment. She quickly regained her composure before staring down at her cousin. No, I'm not avoiding you at all. It's just... I don't... What? Ben reached out and caught one of the lithe wrists in his hand, causing Gwen to go silent. You know, Ben is so much of a goofball in the show. I don't know why they're trying to make him such a douche, I guess is the word I'm looking for. Anyway, she felt her heartbeat suddenly increase, and she scolded herself for behaving like an idiot. It's Ben! Ben! Your annoying, pompous cousin! Ben was grinning at her, making her feel like a cornered animal. A couple walked past them, throwing them knowing smiles before disappearing out of sight. Gwen huffed in annoyance. Obviously, people thought them a couple about to indulge in some private moments. Flashes of her hallucination flew past her mind, making her blush harder. No, stop thinking about that. Think about Ben, his annoying smirk, which I would love to wipe off from his face. Or about his hair. Nice, soft hair. Did he actually brush it? Oh, I'm stupid. Did he actually brush it? He looks nice today. Wait, is that the shirt I gifted him? Gifted him? He English or Canadian or something? I don't know. Gwen stared at his white long-sleeved shirt, which had a black skull print in the middle. It went well with his black jeans. Gwen was impressed. Who knew her immature doofus cousin cleaned up so well? Not to mention, he smelled quite nice, too. Okay, Gwen. Stop right there. Gwen frowned suddenly. After that, her wrist was still in Ben's grasp, her emerald eyes darted between Ben's face to where their hands touched. She saw the brunette smile at the apprehensive look in his eyes. Ben, Gwen started softly, trying to pry her wrist away to no avail. I want to know what happened 3 weeks back. You know, the morning we found ourselves in the alley. Still, I was really fucking lazy on the aliens part. It's like, just put them back in their house. You're aliens, you know this shit, figure it out. Me too. You mean you don't remember anything as well? Nope, Ben shrugged, loosening his grip on her and beckoning her to sit on the bouncy cushion chair near the table. I don't know anything, and I, like you, want to know what happened. He talks so proper. Makes no sense compared to his character. Shit, where did I go? Okay, there we go. Gwen unconsciously let Ben set her down on one of the chairs present, wondering why both of them couldn't remember a thing. She glanced at Ben, startled lightly at now their switch of positions. He was still sitting on the table top with his legs crossed, staring down at her in curiosity. Gwen didn't know whether to scold the brute to get off the table from the ridiculous position or simply laugh. She cleared her throat before leaning back in her chair and speak. Okay, whatever. Let's start from what we can remember, okay? Ben shrugged. Yeah, okay, I remember that night we dropped Kevin off to his favorite mechanic shop. And it was just me and you then. Yeah, I remember, Gwen said, her eyes glazing over as she tried her best to remember. Oops, shit. I wanted to go too and parked under my favorite cherry blossom tree. Gwen rolled her eyes at his exclamation. Yeah, and then there was this strange noises coming from the left alleyway, right? You know, Gwen, Ben said suddenly, his green eyes full of confusion. I feel as though we had this type of conversation before. I just can't remember where. Really? Gwen stared at Ben. Sorry. Yeah, Ben replied, a frown on his boyishly handsome face, much like mine. But whatever. Anyways, yeah, I remember the weird noises. I still think they were those rats I keep telling you about. Ben, there are no such thing as 3 foot long. You know what? Gwen suddenly said in confusion. I also think we had this conversation before. Both cousins stared at each other in silence. Ben took the silence and a moment to innocently let his gaze wander over the redhead once more, admiring her looks as well. Her. Gwen, though, stared at the brunette in genuine puzzlement. Why was this so familiar? I followed into the alleyway after you, and I just remember seeing a pair of golden eyes before blacking out. They really suck at memory wiping. Just between you and me. Gwen started slowly, biting her lips once more. Me too. I I blacked out in the alleyway, seeing a hooded person. Next thing I know, I'm sprawled across the dirty street at dawn with you on top. Well, I was not on top of you, Gwen sputtered, her pink tinting her cheeks. Lost my mojo. Anyway. Yes, you were, Ben said solemnly, enjoying his cousin's reaction. I don't remember what happened during that 5-hour time-lapse, though. Ugh, me too. Gwen held her head between her hands, feeling annoyed at the lack of memories. She slowly looked up with a troubled expression. But you know, Ben, my gut tells me it's better to forget what happened. I agree. I don't know why I tried saying something there. Really? I guess I shouldn't tell you about some things. How long is this? Where's the scrolly thing? Okay, not too much longer. Gwen sat up, staring at her brunette cousin curiously. Ben gazed up at the ceiling, his Adam's apple bobbing up and down as he swallowed with difficulty. He slowly met her gaze, and she could see worry and confusion in his eyes. He ran a hand through his hair, a gesture he got into a habit of doing when he was nervous. Should I just read it off your mind? Gwen asked softly, her eyes suddenly glowing magenta. Now their powers work. The only time their powers have been featured in any of this fan fiction. Go figure, right? Ben swallowed again, more nervous than before. He shouldn't have said anything yet. He had a furious battle in his mind, debating whether he should let Gwen know about his visions or not. Gwen was curious, though. She desperately wanted to know nothing about their missing memories, and Ben realized that maybe it would be better to tell her everything. So instead of speaking, he nodded and leaned his head lower. He felt Gwen's fingertips lightly touch his cheek, triggering his eyes to close and the troubling visions to surface. All the scenes, some of which he hadn't even seen before, flew past his mind's eye like a silent film. Gwen crying, clutching his shirt tightly, strange hooded creatures, one of them injecting something inside his arm. He cornering Gwen to a wall in a dimly lit room, Gwen lying down on a bed, her hair sprawled around her and his chest. Gwen released Ben's face, her magenta eyes slowly fading back to green. Ben kept watching her, yet she could not look him in the eye. How could she, after what she had just witnessed? It was beyond embarrassing to know that Ben had been plagued with such kinds of visions. It was enough that she was suffering through them. Gwen? No answer. Ben sighed, shaking her softly softly by one shoulder. Gwen, come on, say something. Stop. Gwen threw his hand off with a strong force and got up. I think we should forget everything. You should. You were supposed to begin with. But then this scene happened for some reason. Ben quickly seized her hand, pulling her back so that she crashed back onto her chair. He placed a leg on either side, effectively trapping her. What? Forget everything, Gwen? We don't even remember anything yet. Well, let's not try to remember, like we agreed on. Sorry, that one was me, because this really... The big problem with this chapter so far is I don't feel it needs to exist. I feel it should have ended already, by now. Seriously. But we'll continue, because that's what I'm here for. You were the one so eager to... Yes, I was, Gwen shouted, staring up at her cousin in unexplainable anger. Look, Ben said quietly, raising his hands up in defense. Those visions you saw, they're not my imaginations. I seem to be having them frequently since last night. He leaned his head lower so that he was eye level with his cousin. I want you to honestly answer me. Do you get them as well? Gwen didn't speak for a few seconds, her anger turning into shame. Yes, she whispered, looking away. When Ben didn't answer her, she glanced back up at him, startled to see him smirking. What? And here you are accusingly look at me as the pervert. Benjamin! I just like saying the name Benjamin. That's kind of fun. Sorry. Ben slowly became serious, pondering on a thought. I guess we were kidnapped by some aliens sometime or something that night. Maybe, Gwen replied. And they must have removed our memories before dumping us back in the alley. And whatever happened must have been crazy. I mean, in most visions, you seem to be either squirming under me or kissing me. Ben! Gwen punched his shoulder in mortification. I swear, Gwen, Ben had a lot of difficulty in maintaining a cool pose, his face threatening to break into an evil grin. I'm sure you saw some scenes in which you weren't even wearing... Benjamin! Anything on. Come to think of it, neither was I. Benjamin Tennyson, stop this instant. Gwen's eyes glowed an ominous magenta, causing Ben to go silent. Yet he couldn't help but grin at his cousin's red face and eyes that were full of embarrassment. It must have been fun. Ben, stop, please. This is awkward as fuck. Does he not get that? What kind of person talks to their cousin like this in a serious manner? Well, I don't. Maybe that just makes me weird. I don't know. Anyway. Ben started slowly gazing at his redhead cousin from the corner of his eye in case she punched his face or used her power. I mean, you were moaning and Ben was sure he was dreaming. How could this be true anyway? One he was teasing his cousin, and the next his mouth was under attack. Dear sweet God! Are we almost done here? Not really. Gwen pulled the brunette lower, her arms encircling his neck, and she kissed him with total abandonment. All frustration, anger, confusion, desire, everything poured out into that kiss. She smiled against the boy's lips as she felt him shiver lightly. You asked for it, Ben, Gwen said breathlessly as she released him from her arms. And now, I must kill you. If only. I'm not that fortunate. She laughed a bit at Ben's dazed look, his mouth slightly open. I see a simple kiss made you finally shut up, didn't it? What? Ben murmured confusedly, lips still tingling from the kiss. He slowly let a naughty smile grace his face. Ah, so you have been battling with your inner feelings for me, haven't you, Gwenny? Gwen pushed aside his legs and stood up gracefully. In your dreams, hero boy. Her sarcastic smile slipped away as she said in a more serious tone, I don't know what happened, Ben, but maybe it's better that we don't remember. Look at the fragments of the memories that we have. Ben stood up as well, frowning lightly. Maybe you're right, but... He cheekily wrapped his arm around the redhead's waist. Sorry, I read that as wrist for some reason. Causing her to gasp. You can't deny your feelings for me after what must have happened between us. Not after that kiss. I don't know. That was simply to shut you up. Gwen pushed at his surprisingly hard chest, blushing furiously. I can never fall in love with you. You're my doofus cousin. Oh yeah? Ben released her slowly, an unreadable expression on his face. We'll see about that. He is so gross. And just so not right. Like, I let it go in the last chapter pretty bad because they were both hopped up on something, but now he's actually serious about it. No. Gwen rolled her eyes before making her way back to Kevin and Julie, wondering what excuse to make for the long absence. Are we almost done with this? Okay, getting there. Not quite, but we're almost there. Is something wrong, Kevin? Julie asked softly, rubbing her hands together. No, nothing. Kevin shook his head at the Asian girl, smiling in a reassuring way. Why do you ask that? It was just you went to check up on the other two and came back all silent. Oh, he saw! That's glorious! Julie frowned lightly. Are you sure everything's fine? Kevin swallowed, smiling lightly. Yeah, nothing's wrong, Julie. I'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, that's kind of funny. In a dark, horrible way, but it's kind of funny. Oh, Julie settled back and started on her second smoothie. Kevin's smile slowly slipped away as he stared at the tinted windows. Nothing is okay, Julie. And if you witnessed what I just did, you'd put a gun in your mouth tonight like I am. I'm obviously not reading, so... Deep down, Kevin always knew that Ben harbored different feelings for his cousin, which is just a little weird. Just a little bit. Not quite Dipper Goods Taco Bell weird, but that's a different story entirely. From the start, when he newly joined the team, Kevin knew that there was something more to those two cousins than it looked. Maybe they're just family like they're supposed to. I'm going to get to this at the end. Let's just finish this shit. Ben was overprotective of Gwen, the main reason that she was single in high school. Eye roll. It was not the guys didn't approach her with love confessions. Heck no. Kevin knew her locker was mostly always filled with love letters and chocolates from secret admirers. Is this a fucking shoujo manga? We don't really do that in America. Mostly because, we have phones these days and the internet. But yeah, sorry. I'm a bit of a weeaboo, so I know this shit. Anyway. Nope, I found it. Did I skip a whole thing? Oh, I did skip a whole thing. Okay, yeah. All thing we missed is that he said that he saw him. I totally skipped a paragraph on accident. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, he was just saying, yeah, he saw them kissing. But duh. It was a simple fact that to get Gwen, there was a barrier named Ben to pass through first. Ben's not intimidating because he's not that muscular. In fact, he's a scrawny little dweeb. The aliens are a bit of an issue, but why would he do that? Why? Why would he do that? Anyway. Kevin was actually surprised that when Ben accepted his dating his cousin without much fuss. He had to know better. Ben would never leave them alone much at all. He was like a constant presence, like an annoying itch on the bum. Yeah, this person's English or something. But once Ben started dating Julie, things turned better. Kevin sighed. Yes, Ben was always had deeper feelings for Gwen. It was there. Okay, we're almost there. It was especially the time when he had broken up with Julie, only to be infatuated with Eunice. Eunice, who had Gwen's friggin' DNA, and I'm assuming this is in an episode that I never saw. Kevin knew that what occurred at the back of the shop was not an accident and such. Soon, he was sure he would be like the third wheel, not Ben. I love Gwen, but if she's... Kevin, no! You're the hard ass who's supposed to beat the shit out of the kid. You suck at your job. And that's fine by me. Kevin swallowed a lump of despair, trying to look on the bright side of things. It's not like I'm bad looking. There are plenty of fish in the seas. There are indeed, Kevin. That's true. But still, I feel you should probably kick some sense into Ben. Because in a cartoon, if you're in the right, you automatically win. Most of the time. So you should be fine. Just me, though. Sorry for being late. Gwen's overly cheery voice made him snap his head up. Took you guys so long. Oh, Ben replied slowly. There's quite a crowd, so we figured that it's better to go back home as it's getting rather late. Kevin nodded silently, staring at Ben's smiling face. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't really hate the brunette hero. You suck at your job. Why did I say job? I don't know anymore. Okay. Damn, I'm getting soft. Yes, you are. Kevin, yes, you are, you pathetic piece of shit. As Kevin engaged Julie in conversation and led them out of the shop, Ben chuckling slightly, Gwen slapped his arm. Un segundo. Sorry, I'm being texted, but it can wait a minute. Oh, come on, Ben. Oh, where was I? Okay, Gwen slapped him on the arm. Okay, I almost skipped a thing again. So you think it's funny to have me wait that long? She hissed, walking toward the exit slowly. Imagine if they knew what happened back there. Oh, come on, Ben raised an eyebrow. Just admit that you wish we had more alone time to ourselves. Pervert, Gwen blushed, frowning. As I said before I kissed you to shut you up, I will never be in, she will never be in love with him. Okay, I tried to read that and I just couldn't. I don't know why. She abruptly stopped talking when she felt a strong hand grip her arm. She found herself suddenly pressed upon the darkened windows by the next seat. Ben, what are you doing? Oh, yeah? He asked softly. He is disgusting. Leaning lower at that part of where the lips were inches apart. Then pray tell me why your heart is so incredibly hard right now. Because I'm dying, Ben. Because I'm dying! If only. See? They should hire me to rewrite this shit. Just for funsies. Why not? I'm not going to, but... You know why? Because, doofus, the windows are tinted. He laughed softly before grabbing her chin between her fingers for a kiss. Her lips were so warm and spongy as he nibbled on them, and he almost laughed when Gwen let out a badly disguised moan. No, stop it, Ben, not here. Ben lifted his head up, staring down at the flushed face of his sweet, innocent-looking cousin. Not here. You mean there will be a next time, huh? He smiled widely before leaning down to whisper in her ear. And you said that you can never fall in love with me. Stop lying to yourself, Gwen. You know it is true. Couldn't resist. You want to play cat and mouse, Gwen? Fine. But I assure you that you're going to lose. He smiled as he saw her shiver and straighten up. He swiftly took a few steps away. I'll be seeing you soon, Gwen. So that I may watch you while you sleep and cut off your head. He threw her a cheeky wink before sliding his hands into his pockets and exiting the shop. Gwen just stood there, breathing deeply. She stared at her reflection in the windows, her lips red with Ben's abuse. Nobody kisses that hard. Nobody. That I've seen, anyway. Slowly, a joyful smile spread across them. Never before she feel so much warmth in her heart as she did now. Okay, that's the end of the story, but there's a final little author's note here. I'm going to read it. Good, why not? It's there. This did not turn out as expected. I know I might have made Kevin OOC. I don't know what that means, so I can't tell if he did or not. But I honestly didn't know how to write from his POV, his point of view. Actually, she did okay, except I feel he would have been a lot more pissed off. But that's just me, though. I haven't even watched... You haven't even watched the series! Let's finish this, and we'll talk about this in just a fucking second. So forgive me, bows head in despair. Oh, I am going to make it rain blood tonight. But I sincerely hope this chapter made you all happy. I can't believe my first ever story published on here is complete. Top it all, I got so much love from you guys, and that was the sole reason of my motivation stayed within me. So thank you all to all the people who alerted, favorited the story. Special thanks to all the reviewers. And that's just a bunch of names, but don't forget to review one last time. Who knows, I may plan to write another Gwen fic, wink. Until next time. So I'm just noticing my audio was really shitty. So hopefully it wasn't too bad for you. I'm really sorry if it was. Something seems up with my mic. And if there is, that really sucks. But I guess there's nothing I can do about it. So I'm not a cruel man. I'm going to start with what's good about this first. What was right with this story? Firstly, the writing was really good. Like, it was really good writing. I will say that right off the bat. I am not gonna lie, I could see that in a book. But this was not a good fan fiction. It wasn't. Like, this story would have been a lot better if they were original characters. Like, considerably better. Because, firstly, you haven't watched the series yet you wrote a fan fiction. How are you a fan of something if you've never watched it? How? Explain that one to me, firstly. And, frankly, I have this rule, and you guys know it very well. If they speak a certain way in their source material, they should continue to speak and act that way in the story. Because it feels canon, it feels real, it feels organic. But that wasn't here. They were very matured for some reason, and I don't feel that added anything, except you didn't have to censor yourself. But here's the thing. Sometimes, when it comes to certain things, you have to. You just do, because it makes it sound foolish when characters who don't normally swear start swearing all the time. It makes them sound like they're little kids who just learned what the word fuck means. But yeah, I will say this. It wasn't poorly written at all. It was actually really well written. I was wowed by how sorry, well written this was. But yeah, this not what I would call a fan fiction. And you haven't seen the series? I'm sorry, but what motivated you to do it then? Oh, and here's a big thing I wanted to talk about. I really don't understand these incest pair-ups. I don't. Like Dipper and Mabel, don't fucking know. This, don't fucking know. Because here's the thing. I get that you see two attractive characters together and you see them have chemistry and you automatically want them to be together. That makes sense. But you know who else might have chemistry? You and your favorite cousin. Do you see yourself fucking your favorite cousin? I didn't think so. Or you and your sister or brother. Do you see yourself fucking them? I didn't think so. Because when they're fictional characters, we feel we can control their lives much more because they're not real. And I understand that, I do. But it doesn't make sense. And it's just gross to me. I know that sounds really childish, like, ew, it's gross, but it is. Like, I have fairly attractive female cousins, I suppose, but I've never even thought about fucking them because it's gross. No. Plus, they're not really my type, on top of that. But, yeah. That was In Unknown Clutches. First fanfiction done. I'm kind of upset. I'm hoping that the mic isn't too fucked up. I'm really sorry about that. I don't know what happened, but it is what it is. I'll probably put a warning at the beginning too, just so you know. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you have any suggestions for a future fanfiction, please put them in the description below. Otherwise, I will see you on Friday for a new creepypasta. Actually, I'll be continuing more Patrick's Diabetes, I believe. So, till then, take care, everyone.